When a narcissist decides to make you crazy, they do not just gaslight or manipulate, although that's a major part of their strategy. They display behaviors that naturally create pressure on you to suppress your feelings, to believe their version of the reality, and to give up on your need to be seen or to be understood as well. What are these behaviors? We'll find out in today's episode. I'm Danesh, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. The topic for today's episode is 5 weird things a narcissist does to turn lies into truths. If that sounds intriguing and you're eager to know what I'm talking about, stay until the very end, because the behaviors that I'm going to talk about are demonic in nature. Number 1, they get louder. During any conflict, when a narcissist feels they're losing and you're making solid points, they get louder. Why? Because to such an individual, loudness is a measure of their honesty, truthfulness, and righteousness. The louder they are, the more valid points they make, which is how they like to think about it. But in reality, empty vessels make a lot of noise. Deep down, they know there is no way to defeat you. Your arguments are solid and your points are backed by evidence which cannot be disputed in any way. They can make up things as much as possible, but truth always shines out, and that burns a narcissist because they are a vampiric energy. As a remedial measure, what do? They verbally puff up, appear bigger in size by speaking really loudly, increasing the volume to suppress you, because you cannot stoop that low. You do not want to turn it into a screaming match. And they know deeply. They know it's going to silence you. It's going to shut you off. It's going to turn you off. It's going to make you feel suppressed, cornered, attacked. And that will work for them, work for their benefit. Loudness is used as a weapon by such a dementor. The minute you open their mouth, they suck in all your energy, all your volume to amplify their own. That's why you feel drained. That's why you feel like you have no energy whatsoever to talk to them, because they are going to scream at you, and that just hits your brain. It's psychological battering. Tactic number 2, my mother used to do it a lot. They would swear on their dead father, on their dead mother, on your dead body, on their finances, basically anybody. They'll swear by God, by the scripture, anybody and anything that could help them escape the situation. When my mother would blatantly gaslight me and I would try to hold her responsible by saying, why did you say that? She would deny saying it, just right in my face. She would say, I never said that. What are you even talking about? No, you said it. I remember you saying it. You just said it a couple of minutes ago. No, you don't remember it correctly. You need to take responsibility. Why? I am not going to take any. See, you're like your father. You're treating me exactly like him. And then she would throw a performance. She would then swear on her life, and she would really vilify herself. I'm the bad one. May I die today. May I get cancer. I mean, you know how it goes. Just to make me feel guilty. It was guilt trapping, not just guilt tripping. And then make me feel obligated to fix the situation, to apologize for something I didn't do. And then I'd go in and say, okay, I'm sorry. You don't have to take responsibility for anything. I may be misremembering things. Just forget it. And then I would literally put my head on her feet and apologize. And then she would calm down. Do you see how crazy they are? They know deep down what they said or what they did. They just know they have to shed some crocodile tears and push your emotional buttons to appear as a victim or a person who is as virtuous as God himself. Number 3, they will stonewall you. Stonewalling is different than silent treatment, although narcissists may use both of them together to emotionally batter you. My father would do it all the time. I have so many stories to share with you. I keep getting these flashbacks, things that I've already resolved, but these are examples that I have lived. Stonewalling happens when a narcissist treats you like a wall, like a ghost, like a non-existent entity. They'll see you, but pretend as if they didn't see you. They'll pass by. They won't talk for days. And that is psychological strangulation to me, because they will give you nothing but absolute silence. They will treat you as if you are a thing just lying over there that doesn't mean anything to them. After an intense argument with my father, he would harass me through stonewalling. He would never sit in the same room. He would turn his back against me, would never look at my face. If my covertly narcissistic mother would force him to eat nearby, which I requested, used to request her not to do, but she would do it intentionally to keep their family together. And that's when I recognized she was an enabler. Anyways, he would never eat facing me. No, he would turn his back against me. And then she would curse the hell out of me, would pray against me all the time. I mean, I can't imagine a father doing that against his own son. But you have a narcissist who is not an actual father, but somebody who you are biologically related to, and they can stoop to any level if their ego is challenged. He would stonewall me for days until I apologized, and that's when he would forgive me or tell me off. That's how he would turn lies into truths. The lie was, I abused him. I am the crazy one. I have lost it. And how would he turn it into a truth? By forgiving me. And that was never the reality. So this is absolute form of crazy making, which goes beyond talking. Number 4, by faking an emergency. Narcissists are the masters of art of deception. They know how to fabricate your reality. I keep saying it all the time. They know how to create scenarios, and these scenarios are not just any scenarios. They're perfect illusions where you truly feel what they want you to feel. In this case, they want you to feel you are the perpetrator. And how do they do so? They fake an emergency. What kind of emergency? They may pretend to be having a heart attack after an argument with you. They'll throw a tantrum, or they will pretend to pass out. What does that do to you? That makes you feel you are the worst person alive, that you should have totally avoided the topic, and if something happens to them, it will be happening because of you. My mother never pretended a heart attack, but she did pretend passing out. She would cry, and while crying, she'll go like this and then fall. Back then, I used to believe it, and I would torture myself, literally. That's where my self-criticism comes from. Like, how dare you? Why did you? You could have just zipped your lips. And then we would try to wake her up. She would spend at least 10 to 15 minutes passed out, and then she would come back and one more crying spell. How do I know it was all fake? Well, the last time I told her no, because she was pushing my boundaries and I had recognized her as a covert narcissist, she did the same thing. Oh, she cried and she pretended to have a panic attack. I didn't respond the way I used to. And to my surprise, within 5 to 6 minutes, she got better. No problems. And then later on, she was laughing with her enabler daughter, my sister. It made me so angry when I realized that all along she had been playing with my empathy. And to be honest with you, I felt like a fool for a minute. But it was not my fault. I was just doing what any good person would have done in such a situation, or anybody who cared for his mother or the other person. So that's that. That's why they're cruel. That's why I keep calling them monsters. It's not like I like to throw that term around because, it sounds cool. No, I feel that way because of my experiences. No disorder, no clinical definition, no excuse of any kind whatsoever can justify this kind of behavior to me. Number 5, and the most obvious one, they use your reaction to their abuse to prove you have lost it, you have gone crazy, you have turned into an addict, or you are the perpetrator in general. Reactive abuse is what I used to call it, but I do not prefer this term anymore because your reaction to their abuse is a biologically correct response, not reactive abuse. When we say reactive abuse, we're saying you also abused out of a reaction. You did not abuse. You just reacted in a way anybody else would have reacted in your situation. Dealing with a narcissist is like dancing with the devil because it's their tone, their music, and they decide what emotions to come up when it goes up and when it goes down, and the poses, postures, and so on. By that I mean they not only shape but dictate your emotional responses. And when they have to prove you are a villain, when they have to vilify you, when they have to show others they are the victim, they will push your buttons. They will do things intentionally to get a reaction out of you. Maybe you'll yell or scream. Maybe you will cuss. You will act out of character. And they will take that reaction, throw it around to say, oh, see what is being done to me. This is who she is, who he is to his or her children. Can you imagine the pain I have to go through every single day? Can you imagine the suffering this person is causing me? Come save me. Come listen to my story. That is how they turn their lie into a truth. They forge fake evidence to solidify their narrative. Narcissistic women, for example, can injure themselves. I have witnessed so many cases, so many people who reported to me that the person that I with did things to herself intentionally and called police on them to create a false case. Oh, I was abused. And that person was then thrown out of their own home. Can you believe that? They know how to do it. They know how to turn lies into truths, even if that means sacrificing their own dignity and stability. That is what we call being vindictive and punitive. Believe me, narcissists have demonic souls. If not that, they have demonic energy. Yes, people tell you, oh, some of them, they are not aware of what they're doing, and it's not, how you think. It just didn't. No, don't believe it. Believe what you see. They know what they're doing. They always choose easy over right because they do not want to do the hard work. They do not respect you. They do not respect the relationships, and they just want what they need. That's it. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.